Welcome back to the channel. Now we are going to see regarding OOPS concept part 2. In this concept we are going to see regarding these concepts like inheritance, has a relationship, is a versus has a relationship, composite as well as aggregation. So and we are going to see for each and every concept we are going to see sample program and all these things. So before going to the first concept, that is inheritance. So in the inheritance there are multiple classifications like single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multiple inheritance, hybrid inheritance, as well as cyclic inheritance. So now let us see each and every one with the sample programs. So first one, using member class inside another class. So here we are going to perform the operation by your help of a composition as well as inheritance. For the composition, you can see it is going to have has a relationship, and inheritance there is a easier relationship. So this is a demo program. So here I am taking a class. Name of my class is engine. I am initializing a value as 10. So here I am defining initialization of self. This is the term I am defining. In the definition, inside the definition, I have defined b value as 20. Self dot b is equal to 20. Next, I am defining another function. The name of the function is m1 of self. In the self m1 function, I am going to write print engine specific functionality. Next, I am defining a class. Name of my class is car. In the car, I have written a function defined init of self. Whatever the function I have written above, I have written the same function. You can see whatever the function I have written on line number 3, the same function I have defined in line number 8. And I am defining self.engine. Here I have defined car, so that is why I have defined engine function. So that I am defining another function defined m2. M2 is a function of self. Next, I am writing a print statement. Print car is using engine class functionality. I am writing that print function. Next, print self dot engine dot a. In a self above I have written self. In that I have written a value as 10, and in a self function I have written b value as 20. So that is why if I call self dot a, self dot engine dot b, means I am going to get values like 10, 20. And self dot engine dot m1 means what is the thing you have written. Self dot engine dot m1, define m1. In a m1 function you have written a print statement engine specific functionality. So that is the output you are going to get. So what are the final outputs we are going to get is this is a print statement. Whatever the print statement we have written in line number 2, car using engine class functionality, and we have defined a value as 10, self dot engine dot a 10, b value as 20, and self.engine.m1 means car using engine specific functionality. These are the outputs we are going to get. Next, by inheritance. Inheritance means there is a relationship, is a relationship. So in this concept, so let us see how we are going to execute. So here I am taking a class. The name of my class is P, and I have taken a value as 10. Next, I am defining initialization of self. I am defining a function. Next, I am defining a b value as 10. Next, here I am defining m1 function. In the m1 function, I have written parent instant method, and I am defining m2 function, and I am defining m2. In that, I am writing parent class method. Here I am defining m3, and m3 I am defining print parent static method. So how many functions you may define? So at the time of printing, whatever the name of a class you have called, the particular class is going to print. So class C of P I have written, I have mentioned pass. So next, print A, C dot A. What is the value I have written in A? The particular value is going to print. What is the A I have written? 10. Next, C dot B. B means I have, it is 10. Next, C dot M1. What is the term I have written in M1? Parent instant method. Define M2. What is the thing I have written in M2? Parent class method. Next, M3 parent static method. So like that, what are the things I have written? The particular things are going to get printed. Next, instance means next inheritance concept. Here the inheritance concept is here we are going to create parent class and as well as the child class. The child class is going to use the properties of a parent class. And another thing is whatever the things you have defined in the parent class, No need to define the things again in a child class. Why? Because child class will bring the futures from the parent class. Means there is no need of rewriting the code. Here the reusability of the code is going to perform. Next, I have written a class name called class person. Next, define initialization of. I am defining the three values like self, comma, name, comma, age. Next, self dot name is equal name, self dot age is equal age. Next, define eat and drink. I am defining a function called eat and drink of self. In the print statement, I am writing eat biryani and drink beer. This is the statement I have written. Next, I am defining another class employee. The name of my class is class employee, and I am defining a function define initialization of self, comma, name, comma, age, comma, enum, comma, salary. These are the things I have defined. I am just defined. Next, super. I have defined a super class where super class is going to contain each and everything whichever we have defined in a overall program. In the super class, I am initializing name, comma, age. Next, self.envo. It is going to envo is initializing for self.envo. Esal is initializing to self.sal. Next, defining work of self. I am defining another function called work. Next, print. Coding Python is very easy, like drinking chilled beer. This is the general print statement I have written. Next, next I am defining a function like emp info, employee info. Next, print employee name. Where it is going to store means self.name. I have already defined here self.name, comma, age. So here name, the information will be stored in self.name, age information will be stored in self.age, like that. Employee number, employee salary. So these are the values I am going to give in 22nd line. E is equal to employee of Vasu 4800 comma 10,000. So self dot name will be stored Vasu, self dot age 48, self dot number 100, self dot salary 10,000. So e dot eat and drink. In a eat and drink, what is the thing we have written? That particular statement will be printed here in this program. Eat and drink. I have written a print statement. Eat biryani and drink beer. You can see in line number 6. That is a statement I have written. E dot work. What is the thing I have written in work? Coding Python is very easy, just like drinking chilled beer. That is the statement. E dot employee info. This is what employee info, like name Vasu, age 48, employee number 100, employee salary 10,000. This is what the final output I am going to get. Next, easier versus hazier relationship. Next, easier means whatever the function we are writing, if you want to extend our function to furthermore, you can use a concept of easier. And if you don't want to use your function to further extent, then you can use a functionality of has a relationship. Now let us see how easy and as a function is going to work with a simple diagrams. So a person, an employee is a person. Next, employee is a person means it is a mandatory that the employee should be a person. Next, employee having car is an optional. The employee may have car or may not have the car. Next, this is a one more program class car. I have written a name of the class is car. Next, I am initializing self dot name, self dot model, self dot color. Next, here defining get info of self. What are the information I am going to get? Name, car, self dot name, self dot model, and self dot color. These are the things I am going to get. Next, class person. I am writing a class. Next, define initialization of self, comma, name, comma, age. Next, self dot name is equal to name, self dot age is equal to age. Next, define eat and drink. Next, I am defining a function name eat and drink. Print eat biryani and drink beer. This is the print statement I am writing in a define eat and drink function. Next, I am taking a function class employee of person. Define initialization of self, comma, name, comma, age, envo, esal, car. These are the things I have written. So I have to initialize it for each and every value. Self.envo is equal to envo, self.name is equal to enum, self.age is equal to eh, self.envo is equal to envo, self.esal is equal to esal, self.car is equal to car. Like that, you have to define each and everyone to a self variable, whatever we have defined. Next, define work. I have defined work of self. Here, what is the print statement I am writing is coding Python is very easy, just like drinking chilled beer. Next, define ENO. ENO is defined in the self function, so that is why I have included self. Next, whatever the things I have defined, ENO, ENAME, EAG, salary, those are all the things I have defined here. So the next, the balance thing is we have to define values for the input, employee name and employee age, all these things. So here, what is the name of our class names? You have to write those class names. So that is why I have written my one class name is car. So that is why I am giving a car details. You can see here, car name, name, model, color. These are the car details. So name of the class is car. So that is why I have written like, you can see C is equal to car of, name is Innova, 2.5 V is a model, and the color is a gray. These are the values for the car. Next, employee. Here employee I have written employee. In the employee I have given all this information. You can see class employee in line number 16. So what are the information? Employee name, age, salary, employee number, all these things. Name is Durga, age is 48, employee number is 100, salary is 10,000, employee car info C. So these are the values I am going to get. Next, E dot eat and drink. In the eat and drink, if you write anything, that value is, that term is going to print. In a 14th line, whatever the thing I have written, that is going to write. Why? Because I have defined here that class. E dot work. What is the thing I have written in work? E dot work. Define work. Coding Python is very easy, just like drinking chilled beer. The line 23 will be printed. Next, E dot employee info. So whatever the employee info I have written in a line number 33, that info will be printed in a row wise. So this is what a final output of our statements, whatever we have written. Next, composite versus aggregation. Here composite versus aggregation. Here the composition is nothing but whatever the object is there, without existing the container object, if there is no chance of having a contained object, means for example, if you are in a university, if in a university there are CSE department, if there is university, then only there is a CSE department. If there is no university, you cannot bring CSE department. If there is university, then only CSE department will exist. In the same way, composition means first of all, that particular function should exist, then only you can define multiple values in that function, like that. Aggregation means even though there is a university, or there may not be university, but there will be a CSE department. Such example will comes under the aggregation. Means even though there is a university, or even though there is a department, or there may not be CSE department, but the professors in the CSE department will exist in somewhere location. So that is the thing comes under the aggregation. So these are a list of professors, but in this list of professors, I am extracting CSE department professors. So I have written here a small example. I have taken a class student. College name is called KLU. Define initialization of self comma name, means I am defining the self dot name is equal to name. Next, print student dot college name. Next, whatever the college name we have given here in the student class, that name will be printed. Next, S is equal to student of Dana. The name of the student is Dana. Next, print of S dot name. S dot name is Dana. So final output, what is the things I told here to print? Print student dot college name. College KLU is the first print statement. Next, print S dot name, student dot name, Dana. Those are the two outputs that I am going to get. Next, coming to the different types of inheritance. Let's see each and every type of inheritance. First one is single inheritance. That single inheritance. So here I am going to take one class. That in a class I am defining a function m1. In a m1 I am writing a parent method. Next I am writing another class. In second class I have defined child method. Next I have taken a C. C of C dot m1 means whatever the statement I have written in m1 statement, that statement will be printed. C dot m2, whatever the statement I have written in m2, that particular statement will be printed. So the final output is parent method and child method. So here, what is the thing we can understand from the single inheritance concept is whatever the properties we have told in one class, we can use that properties even in another class also. That is a general example of single inheritance. Means whatever the things we have defined in a parent class, we can use the same methods by calling that particular method name in a child class. It is going to extract the properties. Multi-level inheritance means there are multiple classes. So by defining a particular class name, you can use the properties in a below classes. Here I have defined a class B. Here I have defined M1, defined M1 of parent method. Next again I am defined class C. I am defined method M2 child method. I have defined a class C. I have defined M3 subchild method. So next C is equal to CCF means whatever the things I have written, that statement will be printed. C dot M1, what is the thing I have written in M1 statement? Parent method. Next M2 method child method. M3 method subchild method. So those particular methods will be printed. Why? Because in M1 statement, whatever the print statement you have written, that statement is going to get printed. Next, hierarchical inheritance means like a tree structure. It is going to have a root node and as well as a child nodes. So this is an example class P. In a class P, I have defined M1 function. It is going to have parent method. Next, I am defining M2 method. I am having child 1 method. And defining M3 method. It is having a child 2 method. Next, I am writing C1 of C1. What is the print statement it is going to print? Parent method. Next, C1 of M1. In a class C1, what is the method M1 I have written? Parent method. Next, C1 of M2. In what is the thing? Child method. C2 of C2. Next, child 2 method. C2 of M1. C2 of M1. What method I have written? Parent method. Like that, whatever the methods I have defined, that particular methods will be printed based upon the class names. Next, multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance means it is going to access multiple properties from a single class at a time. Here class P1 I have defined. In the P1 I have defined in M1 method, parent method. In a P2 I have defined M2 method. In a next in a M3 method I have defined a child 2 methods. So here I am executing C of C dot M1 means parent 1 method output I am going to get. C dot M2 I am going to get parent 2 method. C dot M3 I am going to get child 2 method. This is the outputs I am going to get based upon the how I am getting these outputs means based upon the whatever the defining whatever the name I have defined, I am defining that particular name. Next, hybrid method. Hybrid method is a combination of single level inheritance, multi level inheritance, and multiple level inheritance, and all these things. Or you can say it is a combination of two types of inheritance methods also. Next, cyclic inheritance means there is a it is having its own properties. Means whatever the inheriting properties are there, it is going to have its own properties in a cyclic manner. So here you can see an example. Class A I have written. Next I have written pass. So I have defined class A, but I didn't mention that name. I have not defined that particular name. So that is why it is going to define as error. So you can see example here. Class A of B I have written pass. Next class B of A I have written pass. So here I have actually that B is the term not defined anywhere. That is why you are going to get error. Next method resolution order. So this is the concept based upon the MRO algorithm. So this algorithm is also called as a C3 algorithm. So this algorithm is follows by the depth first left to right mechanism. So let us see how this particular algorithm is going to work. Here I am going to take an example of one tree structure or float tree structure. Here I am taking a for nodes like A, B, C, D. So here it is a single directional node. So here I am going to define which node values will be flow to the another node. So here A from A the values will not flow to any location. So that is why I have written A comma object. From B MRO of B we are not getting from B the values are going to A. That is why I have written B comma A comma object. Next C from C the values are going to C comma A, and from D we are going to get value from D we are getting values to C. That is why I have written C comma A comma object. Next D, from D I am giving values to B, C. So from D everyone is going to get like D comma B comma C. So like that I have defined the flow of the that particular architecture. So the, whatever the thing you saw in that diagram, I have represented in a programmatic manner. I have defined a class A, B, C, D. So next, whatever the class name, I have defined class A pass. Next class B means the value is passing. Class A is passing that value to next class. In the same way, class B is passing to A. That is why I have written B to A. Next C is passing to A, C to A. Next D is passing to B and C. It is so that is why if I write a print of A comma MRO means from A which class to which classes it is passing the variables. Next from print of B comma MRO means from B it is passing to which classes. Like that you can see here output print A comma MRO means A comma object. Next in the sixth line print B comma MRO from B it is moving to A. Next print C comma MRO from C it is moving to A and object. Print D comma MRO from D it is moving to B, C and A. Next super methods. Super method is a method which is used to call all the superclasses, constraints, variables and methods whatever we have defined in a child classes. So here I have defined a class called person. In the person I have defining a name and age, and I am displaying the name and age. Print name comma age by the help of a self. Next in the same way I have defined student. In the student I have defined a self self dot name, self dot age, self dot roll number, self dot marks. Like that I have defined. Next I have whatever the values I have defined, I have to initialize the values. So that is why I am defining s1 is equal to student of, what are the attributes here? Name Durga, age 22, roll number 101, marks 90. No, so whatever the values I have defined in a s1, that particular value should display. So that is why I am using a function of display. So this is a one program defining how to call whatever the values you are defining, how to call those particular values. So here I am defining class A. In a I have defined m1, defining m1. In the class B I have defined m1. In the class A I have defined A class method. In the class B I have defined B class method. In the class A I have defined C class method. In the class D I have defined D class method. Like this I have defined multiple classes. In a class E of D, so whatever the thing I am asking, E dot m1. In E I have defined a normal class object. In an E I am defining m1 means what is the thing I have written in m1? B class method. In a m1 I have written A class method. So whatever the thing it is going to print whatever the value we are asking. E dot m1 I am asked. So in a m1 I am having A class method. So this is one more example regarding superclass. So here I have defined a class name P. Next A is equal to 10 and defining a self function B is equal to 20. Next class I am taking C of P, defining m1 function print super. Super dot A means 10 I am going to get output. Next super dot B 20 I am going to get output. Why? Because I am having a B value. Next super of B I have written. So in this case we didn't going to get output. Why? Because in that super class whatever I have defined it is not having a attribute of B, so that is why I am not going to get output for that particular value. In a way this is also a one program. I have defined a class P and I have defined initialized parent method. In the m1 I have initialized parent instant method. In an m2 I have defined parent class method. In an m3 I have defined static method. So next I am defining a class and I am defining a set of values super method. M1 means whatever the thing I have written in M1 parent instant method. Next M2 I am parent class method. In M3 parent static method. So like that I have defined some values. Next I am defining a M1 function. So super dot M1 means whatever the thing I have written in M1 parent class method. M1 parent instant method. In M2 parent class method. In M3 parent static method. That is an output I am going to get. So here I have calling a output like two times in 15, 16, 7. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 22, 23, 24. So I'm going to get 7 outputs. Why? Because I called all those values 2 times in various cases. So here this is a class P. I am initializing a self function. Here I have defined parent constructor. Next M1 I am defining a class when the parent instant method, M2 class parent class method, M3 class parent static method. I have defined few methods M1, M2, M3 with some statements in that. So based upon that, whatever the method I am going to call, that particular value is going to print. Super of M2 means what is the thing I have written in M2. You can see parent class method, that output is going to get print. Next super dot M3, in M3 what I have written parent static method. So whatever the function I have written in M3, that particular function is going to get printed. So this is also the same thing. In a class A I have defined parent constructor. In a M1 function I have defined a parent instant method. Next in class B I have defined as M2 class. So if I am asking here V of M2 means what is the output I am going to get in M2, what is there, super dot B dot class of initializing of particular class. So that is why I am going to get parent constructor. I am also parent instant method. So that is the things I have written defined here in M1. In M1 defined function in line number 5 and line number 2. So the outputs I am going to get. This is a case for I am taking a class P. I am initializing a value parent constructor. Next I am taking a M1 function. It is a parent instant method. M2 function parent class method. M3 function parent static method. Next class C of P. I am defining a some methods like super dot M1 means what is the thing I have written in M1 parent instant method. Next M2 parent class method. M3 parent static method. So whatever the things you have defined, that values are going to get print. But while actually that value should print, but there will be output will not be displayed. Why? Because whatever the super class we are defining, uh, it should uh, it should not pass any type of arguments. There are no, it should not have arguments. So no arguments are there in a super class. That is what the reason the print statement is not performing the operation. So this is what one program. Here it is asking b dot m2. What is the m2? I have written parent static method. I have defined a class. M1 I have written parent static method. B class m2 I have written b of b super dot b comma b dot m1. So that is why m1 class will be printed. This is what somewhat object oriented concepts in Python programming part 2.